Hi guys, we have to discuss about drugs. Drugs definition and historical evolution. Myself, Jumana Karadan, second MSc Biology. In the guide of Dr. Anu P.A., Assistant Professor from Department of Biology, St. Mary's College, Thrissur. What is drug? A drug is defined as a chemical substance used as a medicine or in making medicine which affect the body, mind and have a potential for abuse. Without an advice or a prescription from a physician, drugs can be harmful. Hundreds of pure chemicals have been developed plants and put into pills, capsules or liquid medicine. There are two forms of drugs, natural and synthetic. The natural drugs include natural plant leaves, flowering tops, resin, hashish, opium, marijuana. While the synthetic drugs are produced by the clandestine laboratories, which include those drugs that are controlled by law because they are used in the medical practice. Physician prescribed the term and purchased in the legitimate outlet like drugstore. History of drugs. The word drug taken from French word drague, which means dry herb, strongly suggests that the earliest drugs were taken from plant source. The main reasons which leads to the discovery of drugs are starvation, violent death and epidemics. And by the discovery of drugs, there is an improvement in quality of life and extended life. So let us discuss the evolution of discovery of drugs. In case of Egyptian, their medicine, which is known as Egyptian medicine, an ancient papyrus provide written records of early Egyptian medical knowledge in the form of pharmacopoeia. Example, Ebers papyrus provide 877 prescription and receipts for the internal medicine, eye, skin problem, gynecology. Another record from Kahun papyrus detailed treatment for gynecological problem. Medication were based mainly on herbal products such as castor oil, fennel, senna, thyme, aloe, garlic. The ancient Egyptian deity Thoth was credited with the foundation of all scientific knowledge, including act of giving Egyptian physicians their knowledge of medicine and drugs. Greek medicine. Some of the Greek medical ideas were derived from Egyptian, Babylonian, and even Chinese and India. Castor oil was prescribed as a laxative. Asclepius, Greek god of medicine. Asclepius was a demigod in Greek mythology. Son of god Apollo and mother Chronis, he became the god of medicine, and his followers held that ailment and disease could be healed by prayers and sacrifices, particularly in the temple erected for that purpose. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, was the first to attempt to separate the practice of medicine from religion and superstition, developed his pledge of proper conduct for doctors. Among his professional principles, premium non nocere, which means first do not harm the patient, is still recognized as a pillar of experimental medicine. Diseases are of natural origin and not caused by astrological connection or evil spirit. Disease was thought to be due to the imbalance of blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile, of thus for humors. Earliest people used to treat disease by some unconventional method using plants, animal products, and minerals of them. Plants were given priority. The use of medical plants dates back not only to human civilization but to ancient people also. Peoples have been crucial in sustaining human health and well-being of mankind. World's ancient system of medicine, example Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, Greek medicine, despite having wider difference in their principles of treatment, agree upon the point that disease is due to the imbalance within the constituents of body and that the aim of treatment to restore the balance with the help of herbs. Roman medicine is As great administrators, the Romans instituted hospitals, although these were used mainly to cater the needs of military. Through this work, organized medical care was made available. The Romans also extended the pharmacy practice of Greek. Dioscorus and Galen were two noted physicians in Roman days. Dioscorus contained descriptions of treatments based on 80% plant, 10% animal, 10% mineral products. Claudius Galen uses Hippocrates' theory of disease based on four humor. First one, he promoted venesection and bloodletting as an approach to disease as opposed to divination. His drug formulation refers to, na- refers to as Galenics in his honor. And the third one, Galen's work, the Galenic corpus, written in Greek, containing 500 treatises, that is equivalent to million pages. And the fourth one, with his unique knowledge and abilities, he became the personal physician for Roman emperors. Pedanius Dioscorus, a Greek physician, he personally researched each plant and its uses. About 65 AD, he wrote De Materia Medica regarding medical matters on the preparation, properties, and testing of drugs. Five-volume book on the use of thousand plants and minerals for nearly 1500 years. De Materia Medica was the supreme authority on medicine and pharmacology in Western civilization. Next, Arabian medicine. Through trade with many regions, Arabian learned and extended medical knowledge. Their major contribution perhaps the knowledge of medical preparation and distillation method, although the technique were probably derived from the practice of alchemists. Jabir ibn Hayyan, scientist, philosopher, who divides chemical elements to spirit, metal, non-metal. He described about the synthesis of ammonium chloride, nitric acid, and sulfuric acid. Arabs practiced extraction, calcination, sublimation, crystallization methods. Next, we have to discuss about the Chinese medicine. Traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, is believed to have originated in the times of legendary Emperor Shang Nong in 3500 BC. The dynasty system and meticulous recording have helped to preserve the TCM spirit of old China. The ancient belief on which TCM is based include the following. First one, the human body is a miniature version of the large surrounding universe. Second one, harmony between two opposing yet complementary forces called yin and yang support the health and disease result from an imbalance between these forces. And the third one, five elements: fire, earth, wood, metal, water symbolically represent all phenomena, including the stages of human life, and explain the functioning of body and how it changes during disease. And the fourth one, QI, a vital energy that flows through the body, perform multiple functions in maintaining health. Next, we have to discuss about Indian medicine. The Indian folk medicine called Ayurvedic medicine can be traced back 3000 to 5000 years and was practiced by Brahmin sects of ancient times. The treatments were set out in sacred writing called Vedas. The material medica are extensive and most are based on herbal formulation. Some of herbs have appeared in Western medicine such as cardamom and cinnamon. Susruta, a physician in the 4th century AD, described the use of henbane ashandani venom for snake bite. Drug discovery and development in Middle Ages. From around AD 400 to 1500, witnessed the declining of Roman influence. This was also the time when plague scourged many parts of Europe. Diseases such as leprosy, smallpox, tuberculosis, and scabies were rampant. Many millions of people succumbed to this disease. Typical treatments were called bath herbal medicine. And there was a theory in those Middle Ages, that is miasmatic theory. Miasmatic theory held that diseases such as cholera, chlamydia, or Black Death were caused by bad air. It's explained the origin of epidemic disease from rotting organic matter. It had beneficial effect of inducing standards of hygiene among people who believe in superstition. Next, foundation of current drug discovery and development. The Renaissance period laid the foundation for the scientific thoughts in medicinal preparation and medical treatment. There were many advances made in anatomy, physiology, surgery, and medical treatment, including public health care, hygiene, and sanitation. Beginning of modern pharmaceutical industry. Despite the advance made in 1800s, there were only a few drugs available for treating disease at the beginning of 1900. Penicillin in 1928. Alexander Fleming discovered that penicillin mold was active against Staphylococcus bacteria. Ernest Chain rediscovered this fact some 10 years later when he collaborated with Howard Florey. By 1944, large-scale production of penicillin was available through the work of Howard Florey and Ernest Chain. This work foreshadowed the commencement of biotechnology, where microorganisms were used to produce drug products. A description of the drug discovery and large-scale manufacturing of penicillin is given in the development of penicillin in 1913. Howard Florey and Ernest Chain worked with a team of scientists at Oxford University in Britain. In the middle of 19th century, that Beecham's pills. Beecham became involved in the industrial production of medicine, producing patented medicine from 1842 and world's first factory for producing only medicine in 1859. The FDA's Francis O. Kelsey. By blocking approval of thalidomide in the US, Kelsey prevented thousands of children being born with life-changing deformities. Next, the early 19th century, when a number of physiologists began to perform pharmacological studies, in 1809, Francois Magendie studied the effect of Nux vomica. Nux vomica on dogs and demonstrated that the spinal cord was site of his convalescent action. Approximately 20 years later, Friedrich Wöhler synthesized urea from inorganic substance. And next, in 20th century, began improvement in health condition by increasing number of new drugs. The common flu alone killed hundreds of millions. In 1918, flu pandemic killed 50 to 100 million people, 3 to 5% of world population across the world. Infectious disease like polio, syphilis that resulted in grave illness or even death are now preventable through vaccine or curable by antibacterial. We are still facing big challenges at the beginning of 21st century. For instance, AIDS, malaria, tuberculosis are still endemic in the many part of developing world and have devastating consequences for the local populations. Ernest Chain discovered an earlier paper by Alexander Fleming on the antibacterial properties of penicillin. The Florey Chain team's investigation showed that penicillin interfaces with the cell wall of bacteria. Bacterial cells rupture instead of continuing to grow. In 1938, their animal test on 8 mice given lethal dose on infectious bacteria showed stunning result. The 4 mice with the penicillin survived, whereas 4 controls with no medication died. Early forms of drug abuse. The use of chemical substances that alter the physiological function dated back to Old Stone Age. Egyptian relics depict as an analgesic or painkiller. The Incas of South America were known to have used cocaine at least 5,000 years ago. Cannabis, the hemp plant from which marijuana and hashish are derived. Since antiquity, people have cultivated a variety of drugs for religious, medicinal, and social purpose. Modern drug abuse began with the use of drugs for medicinal purpose. Abuse of marijuana began to arouse public concern during 1913s in other foreign countries because marijuana use was associated with the groups outside the social mainstream, petty criminals, jazz musicians, bohemian. A public country for its regulation arose. Despite the law, the popularity of marijuana continued, such as Valium and Librium, LSD, amphetamine, and many other. The public became increasingly aware of them. When cocaine, which was isolated from the coca leaves in 1869, appeared on the international drug scene, it was used for medical purpose. Its popularity spread and soon it was used in other products. A variety of gratonics and the most famous of all Coca-Cola, which was made with the coca until 1903. And thank you. I hope you're clear about this.